Is ICP going to continue falling further? That's a question we're going to answer right now by looking at the daily chart for ICP. ICP has been behaving very well since October. It's had a fantastic run up from its lows in October from about 3 during this crypto rise that we've experienced the last quarter of last year. Made a high of over 15, which is more than 500% increase. Of course, it's been giving back some gains, as we have noted, most of crypto doing since the end of December and through January. But even now, you're at almost 4 times increase, a 400% increase from where we were in our lows back in October, as we hover around 11.3 right now. So ICP long term looks perfect. It's anything that it does right now is just positive constructive price action. Even if it falls down into these ranges and builds a base for higher highs, it's just positive constructive price action. Nothing destructive happening here. It does look like it's experiencing a bit of a downward trend, which I've got noted here a few days ago. This will probably be the last time we see this line right here, because, well, it is actually holding. But we noted that starting in January, we were seeing this constriction in prices. That is, prices were getting smaller and smaller and kind of leveling off into this spring-loaded edge or wedge that we were about to deal with. And it made sense that price was going to have to break up or down just to get out of this wedge as price became more and more constricted, kind of like spring-loaded action. The tighter it got, the faster it was going to move. Well, it did move down, and I think the reason it moved out of the bottom of the channel was this Bitcoin had fallen out of the bottom of its channel. If you look at this Bitcoin channel that it had been in since December, it was gradually grinding, making higher highs and higher lows. This is where the ETFs were approved to appear, and then a lot of profit taking, moving money around, whatever you want to call it, selling the news, retracement. There's 1,000 terms for it, but what happened is price went down. And we can see that in the price action. It went down toward the bottom of this channel and eventually fell out and almost tagged 40,000. Well, that is why ICP, where'd it go? That is why ICP fell out of the bottom of the range. Probably a sympathetic move from Bitcoin falling out of the bottom of its range. Since then, it's looked a lot like Bitcoin. It's kind of hovered back toward the top of its resistance, support level that turned resistance. And so ICP seems like it's following Bitcoin, really. So whatever Bitcoin does, I think is what ICP is going to do. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'm fairly convinced, is going to hit 40,000 again. I'm fairly convinced we'll see 40,000 and below before we see the top of this channel. I think Bitcoin has made a fantastic move since, well, especially October. But if you zoom out, you can even see back in November, it's done nothing but rise from its level of 16,000 back in November a year ago. So it's made some fantastic moves, and I think it's eventually going to end up in this level, at least this level, and maybe further down, but at least between 38 and 40. And that's what I've been calling for ever since it had given up many of its gains from this level right here and started challenging the bottom of this channel. Now, it could do something like this and keep bouncing off this channel and go down. It could go back into the channel and go up a little higher to 44, 45, and then go down. Something like that. And if either of those happen, I think it's going to pull ICP down with it, down to these levels, 9 to 10. And I think we'll probably enter this level and range for a while. We'll have to see if we fall out of the bottom of the level. But that's what we have to watch for, and I think that's where ICP is going, is kind of a gradual decline down into this level of 9 to 10. So if you are pro ICP and want more, I think if you hold on for a little bit, you're going to get a chance for more at better prices than we're getting now. But even zoomed out, goodness, if you get into the 9 to 10 level, you're still 300+% higher than you were in October. And all that would be doing, in my opinion, is setting up for a better base somewhere in this level for a move higher. Okay, that is what we're all hoping for, is higher highs in our coins in 2024. And it wouldn't go straight up, but it would lollygag around here and then eventually break higher. But I do think we're going to eventually hit these levels before it can break higher. And every indication right now on Bitcoin and ICP is that we're going to have a little bit more down, a little bit more falling. Either way, ICP has very, very strong support right here. You see all this constructive price action between 9 and 10. And it's got very strong resistance, a bunch of wicks here. Let's go back in history and see if those are useful. Yep. Look at this level. It holds the high of this swing high back in June 2022, the high of the swing high back in July 2022, the bottom of this week, or excuse me, the bottom of this day back in February 22, the bottom of this swing, before it went up and finally broke. So these levels that I have marked are historically important for ICP, which makes them even stronger and makes them more likely to hold. I'll put it that way, and tougher to get through as well. So if we fall down there, it's more likely to hold and tougher to get through this support. Conversely, if we go up, it's more likely to hold and tougher to get through that resistance. So I think we're going to ping pong around here for a little bit until crypto decides what it's going to do next. We are definitely and have been in a resting period and a give back, and not a huge give back. We haven't been dropping magnificently. We've been just kind of slowly wandering down, and that's across all of these coins. Just a slow wander, nothing big. That's Bitcoin again. Just a slow wandering down, and we're seeing that across the board, just a slow wandering down, and ICP is actually holding up better than most. I think that's because it's got this nice range that it is buttressed in between and seems to be holding nicely. I would expect us to eventually get back down here to 9 to 10 before I expect us to break highs up here. That's my guess. So that's what I'm looking for. If you're looking to get more ICP, I think these are going to be some good buying opportunities coming up in the next days or weeks, and hopefully. And my theory is that in 2024, it doesn't matter when you buy. If you bought at 11 right now, my theory, I could be wrong, is that we'll look back at the end of 2024 and be comfortably above 16 and look back and say, wow, I wish I could have gotten more at 11. Because of how well it's done. Of course, that's looking back in hindsight, 2020 vision. If we could look back that way, then we'd all be millionaires. We can't, which is why we have to watch our money and be careful. Certainly don't put in any more than you care to lose, because you could lose it. Okay, that's the name of the game in crypto. Protect your money. I do think we'll land lower before making, well, and then we'll have to see what happens. A lot of that's going to depend on Bitcoin and the temperature of the crypto market. All right, that's my take on ICP. Come back. I'll keep an eye on the price for you, and we'll watch it together. Y'all be careful out there and trade safely.